Hello, NeoPioneer here again. Talk a little bit today about food storage and kind of how it evolves as you do more of it and learn more things. It's kind of a natural progression that seems to happen. So when you start off, you may have come across a website or something that kind of brings you to some freeze dried storable food in packets or whatever from one of the bigger names, and you get some of those and you try them out, and some of them are okay, but then you dig a little deeper and you realize the cheapest way to store calories is rice and beans. So you get your 50-pound bag of rice and you put it in some mylar and some oxygen absorbers and store it away, and it's good for 15 plus years indefinitely. If you do it right, you throw it in a freezer and you freeze it first to kill any organisms that are in there before you put it in the mylar bags and seal it up. And you can store your dry beans and all that, or and you start getting some canned food, canned beans, canned soup, and you get into the canned meats, canned chicken, canned beef. If you had canned chicken, it's not too bad, but usually on those the best buy is like 3 years out for the canned stuff. But of course, a lot of people say you can use it decades after, depending how you store it. If you store it in a cool basement, it's a lot different than a attic or something, right? And yeah, as long as it's not bloated or smelling bad. But then you end up with a bunch of that food, but you're more storing it and you're not really eating it regular. And you kind of start to realize that the best way to save up the food is actually stock what you eat and rotate it. So for myself, after all those previous steps, I do eat rice, so I have been breaking into those bags of rice and that I have stored up, and make soups with beans every week. But for me, like, the freezer is the way. So about 3 or 4 times a year, I go to the better local grocery store that has a really good meat department, and I get a bunch of meat and portion it up and freeze it. What does that look like for me? So I'll go in and get about 30 or 40 pounds of ground pork. Actually have them grind up the pork butts for me. They have enough fat in there where it makes a nice ground pork. Get a bunch of ground beef, some pork chops, some whole chickens, maybe some ground turkey, and yeah, some chicken breasts. And then I'll got a little cryovacker and break it up into about a pound portion, since it's just me and my wife. And then take an hour and portion it up and freeze it, and usually lasts about 3-4 months. For me, it's a much cheaper option, much more realistic, because I actually eat it, so I'm rotating it. And then obviously other foods you eat, just rotate it. You buy extra. Two is one is none type of thing. And stuff you're going through, you can buy it in bulk, stock up on it. But that's kind of where my food storage has kind of landed. I got rice and beans to last a couple years, but if you're eating a lot of beans, it's going to be hard on the digestive system there for sure. So it's always good to have some stuff to supplement with. You can always have the freeze dried stuff, and you can make some rice and kind of mix that into it, right, and extend it. But in general, wanting to stick into what you eat and just stockpiling it. And as you start, getting away from all the boxed and processed food, and having a stocked freezer, it's on my solar system, so if power ever goes out, it's not a problem. Got 2 freezers. I'll be able to keep those running and basically be good. And pretty much now we just go to the store or the farmer's market for vegetables. Recently just started doing hydroponic lettuce. It's been a fun hobby / learning experience. But yeah, you wanna store what you eat. You want to back up some stuff. Canned stuff's good to have, but real healthy food is good. Got a couple MREs a little while back, but those, they say it's like 5 years in optimal conditions, but by the time you buy them, they're already a year or 2 out. And I know people say they can eat them 10 years later and just smell it or whatever, and they'll use it. But MREs aren't as, they're definitely good to have, to kind of throw in a bag and take with you as you're out and about, right? It's easy to throw a couple days worth of food in there. The latest ones I came across are kind of like these bars that are actually, you can actually store them in your car. I wish SOS bars. Yeah, they're meant, you can actually throw them in your car in up to 140-degree heat, and it's kind of like an emergency ration type thing. But a little brick of those, it's like 72 hours worth of calories. It's got some sugar and the kind of stuff that'll keep you going in an emergency. So throw some of those in your car. But and then if you want to go down a little bit deeper, you can get your own freeze dryer and actually freeze dry some of the stuff, and then you're really set, because it's a step up from canned food, in my opinion, right? Freeze dry, you just have to boil some water to kind of bring it back to life, reconstitute it, but the freeze dried stuff is pretty good. And I probably down the road I'll probably end up getting a freeze dryer. Can't really justify it at the moment, but yeah, it's kind of the evolution that I went through in food storage. The main thing is to just start and do it. The best advice I can give, though, is store what you eat and rotate it, and always have a backup oils, backup cooking oils, everything. But yeah, hope that was helpful. Take care. Bye.